And we're live.
Oh shit!
How you doing, Mr. Panic?
I'm doing good. How you doing there, Mister Edgy?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I'm
Or
really
do you prefer
impressed.
do you prefer Mister American?
Just Shane. Shane works good. I am really impressed with that channel logo that Dribby Tunes did for me, though, dude.
Oh
Um,
yeah, he did a jam up job.
yeah, it took a little while. He said it was like 37 layers to that thing or something. I don't know. You know, to he wanted to add plenty of shading and stuff, so it didn't just all look the same color. But yeah, man, I'm super tickled with it.
Yeah, it turned out really really good.
Yeah. Just so you guys know, John and I were talking before we came live for a minute, and we were talking about. I was watching a video where a guy's reviewing the Resident Evil movies, and I don't know how many of you guys were gamers, but um, I played a lot of video games when I was a kid. But that's what I was telling John. There had never been anything like Resident Evil. I remember when I first started playing it. The whole survival horror genre didn't really exist yet, so you didn't know what to expect, and it was way harder than I thought it should be when I first started playing it. But I will never forget that moment when I was. I don't know how far into the game it is, but I'd been playing long enough to really be on edge, and walking down that hallway with those shelves on the left, and there's like three big windows on your right. It was a carpeted hallway, and there hadn't been any action for a few minutes. The timing of Resident Evil 1 was perfection. They gave you just enough time to be somewhat comfortable, yet you were still on edge from what had happened a few minutes ago. And those dogs jumped through that window, those zombie dogs. I was telling John, I literally was so scared from that jump scare that I turned the game off. I couldn't play anymore that night because it was also like 1 o'clock in the morning.
At
And
this
John,
point, I asked
you asked
Shane
me,
how
John,
old he was when he was playing this, and how old were you, Shane?
I was like 30. I was very least late 20s, and it literally full grown man, and it scared me to death, dude. That was the greatest thing. I think, in my opinion, Resident Evil, uh, it saved video games. It brought video games back to to the limelight. It was awesome. But yeah, we were discussing those movies and how horrible they actually were. But if I watch a critically acclaimed film, I'm very picky about how good is it. But there are a lot of movies out there, guys, that we watch that I just want them to be fun. And I don't care how great the acting is or any of that. Some movies were just made to be fun. And if you guys haven't seen it, that new Bullet Train with Brad Pitt, that is 2 hours of pure fun. Is it believable? No. It probably won't win any awards, but it has a Guy Ritchie feel to the humor, and I love Guy Ritchie's dark, sadistic kind of humor. Like from Snatch and movies like that. But yeah, if you haven't seen Bullet Train, because let's face it, none of us have seen any really good movies in a while. Um, I'm not saying it's a great or a historic piece of film, but it's fun. So yeah,
Didn't Guy Ritchie make a movie with Paris Hilton?
I don't know. He went on to do some weird stuff later. He even did a cartoon movie, but I don't remember if he did a Paris Hilton movie. Or are you being sarcastic?
Hold on.
Because a lot of
No,
people
maybe
did
that
movies
wasn't
with
him.
Paris Hilton. Unfortunately, I wasn't one of them.
That I feel very unfortunate not to have been
Yeah,
included in any of her finer pieces of
yeah,
work.
yeah. She did make some pretty good film that's not out there for just everybody to see. But I enjoyed it. Yeah, we've had this conversation before, and people give me a hard time about it. But Paris Hilton is my body type, so yeah, I'm a big fan of Paris Hilton.
Yeah, I never had an issue with her.
And I think that my attraction to that body type started with. Do you remember? Was it Kelly Lynch? Wasn't that her name? The tall, thin blonde in Roadhouse.
Oh hell, I don't remember.
I think that was her. Her real name was Kelly Lynch. But yeah, that Shane is a sex tape connoisseur. Well, let's face it, guys. 20 years ago when we all got our hands on a PC, that's the first thing we did, right? I mean, you looked for the Paris Hilton tapes. You looked for,
Pam Anderson.
They've even come out and said it, that the Pam Anderson, Tommy Lee tape is the only reason why the internet exists. Because when it was created, nobody knew what to do with it. There was no shopping yet or any of that. So it was this cool thing that kind of lost its attraction very quickly because nobody knew what to do with it. It didn't really have an entertaining factor. And, many people in Silicon Valley will tell you that Pam and Tommy are responsible for the internet being what it is today. They saved it. Well, them and, the porn industry that followed. But, yeah.
Well, I thank them for their selflessness and willing to go above and beyond to help the world out.
Who all we got in here, guys? We got we got Marcos Gamma, Mr. Said Stevie, Ian Coates. Always good to see you, boo. CPM's in here. Mr. Kyle Kuhnel's in here. Kyle, you're gonna have to let me know one of these days if I'm saying your name right.
Obama. You're not. We've had this discussion. It's Kuhnley. What's up, Kyle Kuhnley?
Okay.
Yeah.
I just can't stop. I'm just always going to call him Kyle Kuhnel, I guess. Mr. Patina Turner is in here. And guys, we're going to do, instead of a pocket check today, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but if you got a knife for Christmas, even if you bought it for yourself, I'd like to see that in the chat. What knives did you guys get for Christmas or buy for yourselves for Christmas? Because unfortunately, guys, my newest knife is still my Cold Steel 4-match Scout. I didn't get any knives for Christmas. I did get a couple of cool items, but no knives. So, what did Lacey say? Hilton, yuck, her goodies ain't so good nowadays. Well, everybody's goodies get not so good with time, Lacey.
I mean, everybody's got a shelf life,
My goodies ain't what they used to be either, so
What are you talking? Why would that hurt anybody's feelings, Shane?
Well, because I didn't want anybody to feel bad if they didn't get a new knife.
Oh, well, now they all feel bad if they didn't get a new knife.
Apparently nobody got one because I'm not seeing any yet, but yeah. I was at my in-laws and my mother-in-law informed me that she was going to buy me a knife for Christmas, and her husband warned her not to do that, so she apologized. And I was like, no, he is 100% correct. Don't ever buy a knife guy a knife. You don't buy a gun guy a gun or a gun accessory, because people don't understand. They'll end up buying you that Amazon special for $14.95 that for $2 more you can get Merry Christmas and your name engraved on the blade. But, I mean, that's cute when your kid does it, but yeah.
CPM said he's about to, he's 20 minutes away from pulling the trigger on a full dress skiff culprit right now.
Lacey said she's 6 days away from being able to pull the trigger. See, that's what's wrong with you females. It takes y'all too long to be able to pull the trigger. How the hell are we supposed to know it takes 6 days?
Oh, dear Lord.
Kyle, that's odd you say that. Shane's Christmas present was a flare-up because I haven't mentioned this to anybody yet, but I spent the entire day in bed sick. I got sick at about 4 o'clock this morning. Thought I had food poisoning. I don't know, but I was, sick up until about 4 o'clock this afternoon when I woke up. So, yeah, my Christmas present was a flare-up. I completely missed Christmas morning. Of course, we don't have any small children, so that doesn't matter. But, yeah, it was a rough Christmas, to say the least. I didn't even get to respond to the Merry Christmas messages and stuff till later this afternoon. It was a horrible day, to be honest. But I'm over it. I feel good now, in a good mood, so.
Well, that's what you get for associating with them girls that hang out by the dumpster behind the liquor store.
Hey, them girls need love too, John.
and it's cheap.
Yeah. I actually spent the night curled up to a dumpster behind a liquor store in Ventura, California one night. Woke up the next morning, it was like 85 degrees. So the steam coming out of the dumpster was, oh man, it was luckily I
Good and
wasn't by
fresh.
myself. My roommate that I was in the Navy with, he was curled up right there beside me. Me, him, the rats and cockroaches, and I haven't drank Southern Comfort since. I swore off that stuff. Isn't it funny
I,
how we overdrink and feel
yes,
horrible
and
if we blame that particular alcohol? Like I know people say, "I'll never drink Jägermeister." It wasn't the Jägermeister; it was your stupid ass for drinking too much of it.
no, because I mean mine is Southern Comfort too. I can't touch that shit. I haven't
I
been
can
able to
just
since I was
smell it now.
19.
It's so
Yeah,
syrupy
Dude,
and sweet. Ugh.
this is no damn lie. We were in San Diego, and I was drinking a beer, and my buddy in the back seat had a bottle of Southern Comfort, and he opened it, and I just took a big old swig of beer, and when that smell hit my nose, we had to stop and pull over so I could throw up.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
loved it
immediately
back
just
in the
got
day.
nauseous.
Yeah, I did the same thing on Captain Morgan's. We got on a Captain Morgan's kick. And the thing about Captain Morgan's, is the alcohol level is lower than it's not even 80 proof.
Right.
So it takes you a little longer and a little more of it to get drunk, but because of that, it blurs that line. You know what I mean? You're thinking, "Oh, I gotta drink more of this." I don't know. I always end up drinking too much of it when I drink it. So anything sweet like that now I can't handle. I've I've stuck to Buffalo Trace and Buffalo Trace only, and I do enjoy it. And everybody's like, "How can that be your only whiskey when there's times that you can't get it?" And I think that's kind of healthy sometimes too, because it keeps me from you know drinking a lot of it often, because I have to kind of preserve it. I actually, when I get to about a half a bottle, I'll stop drinking it until I can find another bottle. So
You, you should try some of that bourbon the guy at work makes. We have a distiller at work, Irons One. He makes some good. I got a couple of his bottles. Some good stuff.
I'm not saying any new knives in the chat. Maybe everybody's like Irons One.
Yeah, it's literal small batch bourbon and sour
And I know
mash.
what everybody's thinking. Everybody's going to think, "Oh, you got to drinking Buffalo Trace because Joe Rogan made it famous." Well, it was after Rogan had spoke about it, but I didn't catch that particular episode. My brother-in-law was a big Buffalo Trace fan, and he had told me about it, so I tried it and really enjoyed it. And I don't mix it with anything. I just I'll sip a pour every now and then. But yeah, we're all poor, Shane. I know that feeling, Ian. You have no idea, man. I've never felt
Oh,
more poor
Javon
than I
threw
do
up a
now.
Javon threw up a little chunk of I think you skipped all the knives people put up, man.
Maybe I didn't see them. I don't know. Let's see. BC Jervs. Mr. Shane's got a Bark River Teddy 2 today. That's awesome. Yeah, but Javon don't count, man. Javon gets a box of knives every other day.
Well, damn, that's crude. Don't count.
I'm just kidding, Javon. You know you count, buddy. Yeah, see, you said I skipped them. I guess I get to run in my mouth and forget about the chat, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Stevie said 20 CV warning Delica 4 with Lynch Northwest
Oh,
mod
okay, yeah.
2. Yeah. The one of their mods from Lynch.
Yeah, I watched your video on that today. That was fun, Stevie, watching you stumble through that. Of course, at the same time, I was thinking that, there's no way. That's one of the things I can't do. I couldn't grab those little screws and even take them out, much less turn them. I don't know why my mind tells me what to do, and when my fingers touch, they just don't respond. They don't do what they're supposed to do. I don't know. So I don't disassemble knives at all. Early on in mine and John's friendship, he actually did a scale swap for me because I was glad he made some good content out of it, but I can't do it. I've actually got a knife I've had for a year and a half laying over in pieces. I've no interest in putting it back together because it's a clone. I only purchased it to see how close it was, and it was pretty mind blowing when I realized that not only are the Chinese cloning knives, but when they reverse engineer these brand name knives, they are making them exactly to spec. I'm not going to mention who, but a friend of mine recently acquired a Benchmade bug out blade. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was due to the guy bought a transparent blades reblade. So he got the blade. He reached out to Benchmade to try to buy the rest, and of course they won't sell it to him. So he just took a chance. He spent $28 and bought a clone bug out off of AliExpress and put the Benchmade blade in it, and it works perfectly. That's how. It's not just that they're getting close. They're not just copying. They're exact reverse engineered to the exact same specs. You can actually swap parts. But
oh yeah, Lee was carrying that on a live stream he did with somebody.
Okay, Lee
he
did
was
tell
like,
me. Yeah,
yeah. He was like,
yeah.
basically, I'm carrying a clone, but
yeah, he did disclose that. That's right.
But
I
he
didn't want to
also
call him out of
disclosed he also disclosed how much trouble he had gone through just to try to even buy a set from Benchmade, and they just wouldn't.
Yeah.
They
I know
wouldn't
for a
help him
fact
out.
that's true. He tried to avoid that. He just didn't want the blade to go to waste. I don't even think he was really that excited about owning the bug out, to be honest with you. He just didn't want it to go to waste. So yeah, he's got a set of Chinese scales and Chinese liners and a Chinese axis lock with an actual Benchmade blade on it. The only difference we noticed, we put it side by, is the blade seems to recess into the handle.
Yeah, he said that.
Yeah. If you just looked at it, you'd never know. But if you held them side by side and closely inspected, the blade does recess just a hair bit more. But I'd also be willing to bet that if you look long enough, you could find two bug outs that one recesses a little further into the handle.
Well, Marco said something. He said the rye whiskeys are the one that sucks. I agreed. Jeff Irons, the dude that makes Irons One, he only makes two. He makes a bourbon whiskey and then it's basically the same thing. It's just when he casks it, unless it's a brand new barrel, it can't be considered bourbon.
Right.
So like the first casking in a barrel is bourbon, and then after that it's just whiskey. So same shit, just different flavors from the barrel.
Yeah. I watched a video recently. You guys, if you're whiskey connoisseurs, have probably seen it. I don't remember the name of it. It's a very popular YouTube channel where they talk about whiskey, and I can't watch it very often because they're such snobs, in the way they talk about. But anyway, they'd shown where they had some old whiskey and some barrels that something had went wrong. I don't know. There was an issue with the flavor, but they redistilled some 20-year-old bourbon. So when they poured it in, it was brown, and when it redistilled, it came out clear. But it's still whiskey. And they were just amazed at how good it was. So that's probably going to become a thing now, where they turn around and redistill it.
Did you see what Stevie said?
I don't drink much scotch.
Stevie said I had an engine for a Ford F-250. Called Ford and asked if they'd sell me everything so I could have the complete truck. They said no. Fuck Ford.
Yeah. I'm not a huge drinker anyway. I don't know that I've ever drank a rye whiskey. I know I have drank some scotch, but to be honest, maybe my taste buds aren't that great. I have a hard time really telling the difference between, scotch and Canadian whiskey and bourbon. It all tastes pretty close to the same to me. I'll be honest, the only reason why I like Buffalo Trace is because
Joe Rogan.
It's the oldest whiskey brand in the United States, so I like supporting that. I pay $7-8 a fifth more for it than I would Jack Daniels, but if you poured me a glass of each, I wouldn't know. But yeah,
you are correct, brother Marcos. Virginia White Oak for the barrels.
Some Johnny Walker Blue Label. Now the Blue Label, that is the high dollar stuff, right? I can't remember the tiers. I know there's white or red, black, blue. I know they get expensive though.
And there's like a gold label. I don't know. I don't think I've ever drank any of it. What's up, Beaver Baron?
I drank some of the. It's not the highest level Johnny Walker, but right. And like I said, it was cool. You know that it was $200 something a bottle. You know, I didn't buy it, but it was cool that a buddy of mine shared that with me. You know, and I got to experience a pour of it. But once again, I couldn't tell any difference at all between that and like I said, a pour of Evan Williams or Jack Daniels, or they all pretty much stay the same to me. But yeah, I am. I think I have made up my mind on sending this knife to Mr. Pro-X. I think this would be really cool with some micarta handles. I'm not.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
I'm not. I don't hate the Gravery at all, though, man. This is. I don't know. I'll even say this. I think Cold Still's Gravery, maybe just because it's thicker, I actually think it feels a little better than Spyderco's FRN or whatever you call it. I don't hate it.
Yeah, it seems to have less give to it.
Yeah, maybe it's just because it's thicker. They're not concentrating on weight. I don't know, but yeah. Of course, you guys know me. I want my card on everything, and I think Bill is really missing out. I think he could buy a set of $15 1911 grips, and to get his specs off of, and make some nice micarta 1911 pistol grips.
Oh yeah,
man, that would be so cool, dude. I'd love to have a 1911 with micarta grips.
We know what to get Shane for Christmas next year.
Yeah. And Coach, you'd fit in good on the Unsubscribe podcast, wouldn't you? Any of you guys watch Unsubscribe? That's they start off every show cracking open a White Claw, and it's funny because those guys are such nerds. And then but if you really know their background, they were all trained killing machines at one point in time, and now they're just anime and video game nerds that drink White Claw on their podcast. Pretty hilarious.
Man, well, I think I've told that story before. The White Claw story about the dude that had come up with the genius idea and announced that so for the ex's birthday or for Christmas one year, I bought her. She wanted to go to see them Florida Georgia Line in concert. That was like one of her bucket lists. So I got her tickets, and then after we split up, because they were pre-sale tickets, the concert wasn't until after we split up. So I still went with her. But anyway, middle of summer with your ex, hot as hell at the damn PNC Pavilion in Charlotte, North Carolina. wasn't the greatest of evenings, I can tell you that. But we're walking through like the little courtyard area where all the beer vendors and stuff are, and this dude, he said, "Baby, I'm a genius." She said, "What'd you do, baby?" They were just country as hell. He said, "Man, I'm drinking White Claws in between beers so I can stay hydrated." And he was dead serious.
Well, I'm sure he was.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking the claw. Old enough to crawl, old enough to claw.
Yeah. I think it's great that Zima was able to relabel their cans and get back in business again. That's
right.
All is Zima. It's the same thing, but hey, hats off to them, man. They've made themselves a bunch of money.
Kyle, you should have taken her, then scalped your ticket and left her there. Dude, it's worse than that. So she ended up getting, by the time, because there was like 5 different opening acts. Morgan Wallen opened and Hardy opened, and the Taste Tequila dudes, Dan and Shay or some crap, they opened. So by the time Florida Georgia Line came on,
good show.
Huh?
If you're into that kind of music, that's a pretty good show. That's
it would have been a damn good show if I wasn't there with the evil bitch. It would have been awesome. Like by the time Florida Georgia Line came on, she was shit-faced drunk, and then got pissed off and blamed me for it. And she was like, "I missed the only people I wanted to see because I was drunk." And I'm like, "Okay, how is that my fault?" dude, we get to the car and it was a Honda CRV, so it had the fob on the key.
Yeah.
The fob was there, the key part was gone, so I couldn't crank the car up, and it was like almost midnight. I called every locksmith in Charlotte, and even the 24-hour ones were closed. So we had to sleep in the car in the parking lot to like, I don't know. I think he showed up at like 10 the next morning and fixed it or whatever. Can you imagine that? Just having to sleep in a car with your ex,
Yeah.
who is evil as they come.
Yeah. Stevie asked who Florida Georgia Line was. I'm assuming that's sarcasm. I will say this. Um, if I'm going to listen to country, I like to listen to outlaw country, but I could listen to an hour of Florida Georgia Line before I could listen to 5 minutes of Luke Bryan.
Well,
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know
tell
why.
you this.
I can't stand him or his music. Um, yeah, but I'm not a.
If there
I am
ever
a
was a
Morgan Wallen
concert to
fan though.
go, oh yeah, he's good. But
Yeah.
if there ever was a concert to go to a Florida Georgia Line concert, because there's a whole another genre of cowgirl that go. I mean, there's a whole little outfit that just it's like a Florida Georgia Line uniform that these chicks wear,
Oh,
and
I've seen
it don't cover a lot.
right. I've
And
talked about that on live before. My wife, she's 15 years younger than me, and she was a big Hanson fan as a child. So I've taken her to 3 different Hanson concerts, and I tell everybody if you are single, follow Hanson wherever they go because you're
well,
talking
that
about they usually play these venues where it's about about 1,000 seats. So you're talking about 980 um, single bopped up females, and yeah, it's that's the
dude,
concert.
that was my one like consolation about the whole thing, because she was my ex, and there was hot girls coming out of our ears, and I was talking shit right in front of her.
Believe it or not, they still have a very successful career. They sell out. Like I said, they have a target audience size, but like the House of Blues, places like they still sell out everywhere they go. They're still releasing albums that are going gold and platinum, and nobody's giving them any attention. They've got their own beer brand called Hops. Yeah, those guys are
Oh
doing
my
really.
lord.
Yeah, they're doing really well for themselves because their fan base is so dedicated. I guess it's kind of like Wu-Tang Clan. People are dedicated to them even if the music's not that great.
All right, how do I kick Shane out of his own live stream? Is that a thing I can do? Where's the button? And ENG, she was a sweetheart.
Who?
Let's just. He said so. You're saying she was a nice girl, my ex?
Oh,
No, she. Mm.
yeah, yeah. Look how happy Shane is talking about Hanson. As I will give them this: they are musically talented. They do put on a good show if you enjoy that kind of music. But I say hats off to them, man. You know, they didn't crash and burn like most bands from that era did. They're still out there doing their thing. And, yeah.
Cream bop.
Yeah. I only talk about Wu-Tang, Scott, because it pisses Stevie off, in all honesty. Um, I've even tried, man. I tried to go down the rabbit hole, and I guess it's just I didn't know what I was doing or where I was at when Wu-Tang hit big, but I just never experienced Wu-Tang Clan, and now it's hard to go back and really enjoy it for me. I know a lot of music is attached to a time of your life, and that can make it even better than what it really is. But I don't have that, so it's been hard for me. 'Cause I tried to go back and watch it. I can appreciate it, but I just can't get hooked on it.
Well, your former crush is in here, Shane Shane.
Who's that?
Oh, Cole, the man himself.
What do you mean by former crush?
Oh, you're still okay. I thought you were over him. I thought you'd moved on to bigger and better things. But
Yeah,
hey, if
what can be bigger and better than Cole over at Tri-State?
Bigger, a
Yeah, bigger would be
mouse.
typical. Yeah, yeah, you're right there. Cole,
And
I hate I missed your live this morning, man. Like I said, I was sick, and yeah, I finally crashed, and
he
that's
had
what
a, well, like we said, a flare up. Um, Hanging out with women of loose morals.
yeah. Ian, bad as I hate to say it, buddy, you know how much I love you, but Cole was my crush first. I've been crushing on Cole since way back before I ever even saw you in the lives, and you can ask Cole.
Since before we had the knowledge that there was a voice changer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Because you thought that was his voice.
I did for a long time. Yeah, just like
Because
everybody
I
else.
think you messaged me and you were like, dude, Cole uses a voice changer. And I'm like, yeah, I know. We've known this. I did not know that. I
I remember when Bama Knife Guy called me and he was like, "You know, that's not really his voice." And I was like, "Yeah, I've known that for months, man." He's like, "I had no idea." And I was like, "Yeah, it's almost heartbreaking." But I will say this: as much as people love it, if he had waited too long, I think it may have he may have got himself in trouble. I think some people, I don't think some people would have forgave him. So it's probably a good thing yeah, he spilled the beans on that when he did. Yeah,
before he came out of the vocal closet.
yeah, that's funny. Yeah, but guys, I checked my sub count today. I'm at 936, so it's not looking like I'm going to hit 1,000 by New Year's. Um, I'm going to try
I
to get
don't
on
know,
tomorrow,
man.
try to do a couple of shorts a day between now and then. But I'm not going to be upset. But that would have really been cool to hit 1,000 in 1 year.
It's the pencil stash. And he said, "Cool, that mustache isn't real either." Dude, funny thing, when John Waters came to my work and did his little performance or whatever, that son of a gun legit pencils on his mustache.
Oh, really?
Because when he had to go back to his hotel, he had left his little toiletry bag in the office, and he was like, "Oh, I need my toiletries." I was like, "Was it anything important?" He was like, "My mustache pencil's in there." Dude, I was like, "I'll go get it, man. I'll go get it."
That's kind of an inside joke. Patina had convinced me at one point in time that he was 69 years old, and I believed it for a couple of weeks. And I think what really broke it was the first time I talked to him on the phone. I was like, "There's no way that dude's 69 years old."
What Patina said that Patina was 69?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I just come out and asked him one time how old he was, and I asked, because he was all the time talking about hiking and stuff up in the Sierra Nevada mountains, and he told me he's 69. It really made me feel bad. I was like, man, this dude's 69 years old and still super active. That's awesome. But yeah,
Yeah, that would be sweet, Cole, if you could get Shane a little tri-state bump on Tuesday.
yeah.
That's what I was about to say. When we've got plenty of time to get you, what, 64? You
60
said
now,
what, nine?
64 subs to hit 1,000.
Yeah, dude, that ain't no issue at all.
Stevie, that's the most gracious offer I've ever heard of, dude. That is so sweet of you. I don't know how Mattis is going to feel about it, but it's still a very gracious offer.
Patina said he wanted 269.
I must have misread that. Yeah.
Well, so this I meant to show this last week and completely forgot about it. Knife sale that all the kids are going on about these days. Knife sale's a damn good site, man. I got
Yeah,
a killer
I do like NAFSL.
I got a
I
killer
believe it.
deal on a full tie biblio. I think
Yeah.
it $120.
I tell you the difference I see in NAFSL and most others is I've only seen a couple of cases where knives had been marked up over table price on NAFSL. And it makes sense because it's knives that are always marked up over table, but the percentage they were marked up wasn't here. It's nothing like eBay. I'll put it that way. You know, um, but
Yeah, and you
typically, you're going to get a knife for maybe 20, $30 cheaper than it was new, and I don't mind
Yeah.
that. I've never marked anything up like that. But how much did you say you got that for, John? I'm sorry.
120, yeah, Lacey. Yeah, it was 120 shipped to the door in the box. I mean, it was carried, but I mean, there wasn't anything wrong with it at all. It has the best action on a biblio that I've ever handled.
I'm hoping my next knife, if Jeff ever decides to come off of it, I really want that Spyderco. I don't
That
remember the name of it.
Velatin.
Valentine.
Yeah, the Spyderco Velatin.
Yeah, the Valentine.
Yeah, the Spyderco Velatin.
Whatever you want to call it. And I don't know why. It's actually it's borders on the ugly side, but I love
Spyderco Peloton. This is Ian Coates of the Spyderco Peloton.
Yeah.
Yeah, it tracks your workouts.
Yeah, that thing's pretty badass though. I mean, if you want a good hard use heavy duty knife, I didn't even know Spyderco made anything like that except for the Subvert. But the Subvert kind of scares me with that detent, man. I'm not huge on action. I can appreciate it when a knife has it, but when a detent's that weak, if it's weak enough that I have to worry about it opening in my pocket, that's almost unacceptable. Yeah, Ian, you're probably right there. I mean, it's not that you need luck; you just need more than retail. I mean, you could buy one, but I just don't know that I want to pay that much for one.
What, for a Slish buoy, Slytherin buoy?
Yeah. And Marcos, I don't want all your old Benchmates. I just want one or two of them. I can't remember which one it is he had now that I was so excited about.
Hey, they got a shop here in Huntsville. Dude carries a bunch of old discontinued Benchmade models.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Maybe Javon can throw the name up. I can't remember. It's like Knives and More or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he does consignment sales, and he's got and I guess he buys like used shit from people. He's got a bunch of old Benchmade models up there.
Kyle, I don't know anything about your new IG page. What's up with your new IG page? Well, wait a minute. Is that the knife sharpening page?
Or is it connected to his OnlyFans?
No, I got a thing about an IG page about a knife sharpening, but I didn't know it was Kyle's. I accepted it. Had a really cool logo, but
couldn't have been Kyle's then.
Yeah, is that you, Kyle? Is that what you're talking about?
That must be it. It's either his OnlyFans or his knife sharpening.
I can't remember what it was called though, but I didn't remember it having your name in it.
Drop a damn link, Kyle Coonley.
Yeah,
you got a ranch.
Do whatever you want. Now you got me curious though. Have you seen it though, John? I think it's a green.
No.
Yeah. Right
no, there. I haven't. But he put it up there.
Yeah, that's it. Clinging work. That's not going to show up, but yeah.
Hell, you can share your screen.
I have to be prepared for that, John. the only time I've done that, I had it pulled up and ready to go. I don't know that I could minimize this and search, and yeah, you have to be ready. Well, Kyle, I'll start pushing that, man. I didn't know that was you. Yeah, so everybody go add cleaning work sharpening on your Instagram.
Brandon Sutton, apparently nobody besides like Stevie and Javon, because Shane posed the question earlier and nobody wanted to pony up any info on the NAFs they got for Christmas.
Yeah, and even the people that did, I missed it. So
Yeah, so he screwed that all up. Which begs the question, sir, did you get any NAFs for Christmas?
that's correct.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Michael Upchurch.
We got a couple of expert sharpeners in the room tonight. We got Kyle and Miss Lacey Lace. Did you guys see her IG post about sharpening that tungsten blade?
I did not.
That took balls, which is something that she doesn't anatomically have. But just to even set out to sharpen that steel, because I've seen guys talking about sharpening it and how near impossible it is. I think, if I'm not mistaken, even Outdoors 55 tried it. Did he not? And gave up. But I'm not sure. I don't know where she got the information to even know what to use. But from what I've seen, it seems like you can't use aggressive stuff on tungsten. I could be wrong, but
well, before you miss them again, we've got there's a few submissions rolling in. P-Fly said he didn't get any NAFs, but Jeffrey Dawson bought the Vosteed Valkyrie.
Very cool.
Ian Coates got the best gift, A Morning with Cole. And the Dang Ross, I casually walked in, got a discontinued sprint run 1 week. Oh, okay, I got you.
Well, Ian, the question is if yours and Cole's morning spooning adventure, were you big spoon or little spoon? I'll wait on that answer.
I'm waiting on
it's
it
probably
too.
Hard for anybody to be big spoon or little spoon when they're spooning with Cole. I feel like Cole is always going to be little spoon.
He's good. Well, yeah. He usually ends up. They lose him and then they find him later in their pocket.
Brandon Sutton got a Crewwear Yojimbo 2. That's pretty cool, man. I think if I got a Crewwear, though, I'd want the Yojimbo. Just, I don't know. I try to relate steels to what I'm going to use them for, and Crewwear being so tough, I think I'd want it in the bigger version, but I'm weird like that. Yeah, Marcos, it was the Onslaught you had that. And the Skirmish. Both of those names just scream badass anyway. Who wouldn't want a knife called the Onslaught or the Skirmish? Yeah. I didn't realize Marcos has got a pretty good collection of older high-end Benchmades and stuff.
Yeah, the Onslaught and Skirmish both just bring blood and gore to mind, just splattered guts of your enemy against the wall.
Yeah.
It's usually Cole, me, and 6 Foot Jesus.
Yeah. But I still think the coolest tactical knife Benchmade's ever made, to me, will always be the Contigo. I don't know why this thing just makes me wish a motherfucker would. You know what I mean? I love.
Have you checked out the Rift?
Yeah, and I would love to own a Rift just because I think it would be a little more suitable for carry in more situations than the Contigo would. It's not quite as big, but it's got that same cool blades. I like this because it reminds me of just a big 940, but a lot of people think that, but what people don't realize is how slicey this thing is. It's a perfect balance between hard use, tactical, and actually still being a very good cutter. So I don't know if the Rift is the same way. It looks like it would be because it seems like it's got a little better grind than the 940.
But can you clean out your horse's hooves with that one?
I don't know. I don't have a horse, so I wouldn't know.
Well, you need to get you a horse, damn it. Should have asked for one for Christmas.
Yeah. Should ask for a pony.
A pony and a puppy dog.
Yeah. I've got the perfect puppy dog, so I don't need one of those for a while, but don't have any room for a pony. So.
Well, okay. Well, speaking of, I mean, So if you didn't get a knife, what did you get for Christmas, folks? Did you get
Yeah.
anything badass? Something you've always been wanting?
Yeah. Anything other than socks and underwear? What do we get? I already
Well,
showed
dude,
one of mine. Go ahead.
I've come to realize that those things that we took for granted when we were kids, they're awesome gifts nowadays. I'd kill for socks and underwear for Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. I got that Cold Steel trench hawk I got was one of my Christmas presents. That's the only cutting tool I guess you could say I got. But um, and I got a nice night core headlamp. Um, it's the NU35, I think. What I like about it is it's got an internal lithium battery, so it's rechargeable, but it also has a place for a AAA battery. So you can put your AAA battery in it, and when it runs out, it'll switch to the rechargeable battery. So I like that idea that I can always run off that AAA, but in the case of an emergency, I've got that lithium battery backup for when I run out of batteries or whatever. So, and it's super bright. So I enjoyed that.
Damn, Carco said he got his little girl's a pony. Holy shit. Get you a 940 to keep their hooves cleaned out with. That's a quick pro tip for you.
Constantine, you got a 4-match Scout for Christmas? Either way, whether you got it for Christmas or not, that's a really cool knife, man. I don't get that this thing. Of course, I got it. I caught it on sale at Midway. Midway USA had it for $55, and it almost makes you feel dumb when you hold this next to a $50 Civivi, and you're like, how are these the same price? This makes no sense to me. And I know Oz 10 has kind of caught a bad reputation because of the Demco stuff, but guys, I've owned a lot of knives in Oz 10, and to me, it was the top budget steel out there um, until 14C. And I don't know that 14C, if it's better, it's only better by hair. Cold Steel's Oz 10 is really good stuff. And for $55, man, you can't beat that. That's a hell of a deal. Even at $78, I mean, when you compare that to a $78 Kaiser, unless you're an action freak, that's just a way better knife, in my opinion.
It's a whole lot of knife.
Yeah, it's a bunch of
I
knife.
mean,
Sure.
you add to the fact that of how much knife you're getting to the fact that it's very well built.
Yeah.
Can't really go wrong with that.
Yeah, I like my Oz 10 stuff. I had a Kubi, the 003, I think it was. I think they called it the Darkness or the Dark. They changed the name on it a couple of times. You guys don't remember. You guys might not have been around long enough to remember how cheesy Kubi used to be. Kubi made a bunch of clone-ish, kind of like Ganzo did. Not direct clones, but they borrowed designs.
Yeah, they were very Ganzo and effing growy.
Yeah, they made some cheap shit back in the day. That's why it's amazing to me that they've progressed to where they are now and actually got a decent reputation, because they were the Amazon $8 knife brand for a long time. But the 003 Darkness is what it used to be called, and I got one. I think I give $28 for that knife. It was about a 3.75-inch blade. It had a slight recurve in the it was a Tanto, but it had a slight recurve. Man, that thing cut so good. And that Oz 10, I know, had been heat treated well, because it would rust faster than my D2. I had to stay on top of that thing. And I know you guys hate when I talk about heat treats. I'm not a heat treat expert, but if you have a stainless steel that is very prone to rust like that, that's a very good sign that it was heat treated to a higher HRC. Because the higher your HRC on stainless, the more prone it is to rusting, which is another reason why companies like to run lower HRC, so that people don't bitch about their knife rusting. But that thing would get specks on it constantly. But God, it held an edge forever, man. It was the geometry was good on it. I think it was one of the best budget knives made for a long, long time. Do you remember, John, when all the drama was about all this D2 coming out of China and loved them
China
knives,
D2.
loved them
Yeah.
knives, spent all that time having them tested. I found out a way. It's not important now because nobody's buying it, but back then I found out a way to know if your knife was actually D2. Well, you would know if it was an 8CR. I'll put it that way. This is how you could tell. If you were purchasing those knives back in, all you needed was a little bottle of gun blue. Because if you touch gun blue to D2, it instantly turns black. So that was one easy way, back then. Like you could take an effing growl and wipe it all over the blade. It wouldn't turn black because it wasn't D2, even though they were advertising it as D2. So now, did it tell you what the steel actually was? No, but it would tell you if it was or wasn't D2 at the very least. And
Well, would it do that because of it's lesser?
Gun blue reacts to. It won't react to a stainless steel.
Yeah. It's lesser corrosion resistant properties, which even D2 is not like totally corrosion resistant. It's just not to the exact standard to be able to be considered stainless.
Right. Yeah, I've never really had an issue with it. I had that one I posted pictures of, and that was unfair. That I had that Artisan Archeo Mini, and I'd lost that knife. I have no idea. I couldn't find it anywhere. Wasn't really a huge fan of it anyway, so I didn't search as hard as I should have. But anyway, I found it underneath my bathroom sink, inside the cabinet underneath the sink, and that thing had rusted horribly laying underneath there, just being in that steamy, humid environment. I gave it to Justin at OCD for EDC for him to tinker with, whatever he wanted to do. But that D2 rusted back like it was rust, not just spots or it turned dark. It actually rusted. But, like I said, that was horrible conditions, so not necessarily a fair test. But
look like your mama's butcher knife did after it turned up 3 weeks later after you left it outside out there whittling sticks and shit. Not that ever happened to me, but.
Well, John, you were from the South. You may have experienced this. Do you remember when you were a kid? Because I know several people that have this memory of being a kid, and we were going to go on adventures in the woods, and you would go in your mom's kitchen and dig through the drawer to find that old hickory meat knife. It kind of had a somewhat similar blade shape to this. It had that weird looking point on the end of it, but I don't know if our moms knew that how often we were digging that thing out of the drawer and taking it out of the woods and chopping down trees with it. But that's just a testament to how good a $15 knife that was, because that was $10.95 for $15. I still see
they're made by Ontario.
Yeah, I still see videos where people are saying it's the greatest budget survival knife money can buy.
Yeah, that's the butcher knife that I may or may not have taken outside and left to get rusty. It was the old hickory.
That's what reminded me of it, because I ended up leaving it in a tree fort we were building, and when my mom was complaining about it being missing, of course I didn't say a word. I just knew I had to go retrieve it. So come back.
Well, I knew that too, but couldn't remember where to retrieve it from. So luckily, my dad was mowing the yard one day and found it with the lawnmower. So that's how that came about.
Yeah. G-Ball, what are you talking about? S90V would be great on, because S90V is great on anything. If you don't need it for high impact abuse, I think Spyderco's S90V is still the greatest blade steel available. I think it's still better than even good heat treated MagnaCut.
What's up, Tom Weingart? Oh, Frater Atomicus. Gonorrhea said he bought a Old Hickory a couple weeks ago, and the handle showed up looser than dog shit.
I've heard that nowadays the handle quality has gone to shit. That I've heard people talk about, that they actually did take them outside and use them, and apparently they've gotten bad about breaking right at the rivets. But
Yeah,
we
it's probably
abused.
just using
I
cheaper
abused my
quality
mom my
wood.
whole childhood out in the woods, and you know it never failed. So
Yeah, definitely. If you could go back in time and buy some of the old ones because they were on point quality wise.
yeah,
I mean, for cheap kitchen knives.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna suggest, Brandon. Just peening those pin because I think they use what, copper rivets. Are they brass? I know
When I
they're
was
soft
a kid, I
metal.
know they were gold looking. So
Yeah, they probably brass rivets. You should be able to peen them out a little bit, but
yeah,
they should come from the store not rattling,
right.
to say the least.
But I've got a Rat 7 here. It's really my only big woods survival camp type knife that I own. And but the first one I bought was horrible. It had the worst. It looked like somebody had put the final edge bevel on it with with just one of those 6-inch table grinders. It was bad, and I sent it back. But I eventually ended up purchasing another one, and it's really good. But yeah, I mean, when you're making any product in those kind of numbers, to keep up with the market, I guess that and employees give a shit has definitely diminished over the generations. So they're not as good as they used to be. That's the only reason why I can appreciate purchasing a knife on Amazon is because you don't have to give a reason. I mean, if it's not as good as you wanted it to be, you can send it right back. You ain't got to put
That,
up with some retailer, arguing with you. There's no questions asked. They'll just take it back.
that's very true. Because I bought actually the Formax from them. Was so stoked about it, and it had a little bit of blade play. I wasn't happy, and I just submitted the return thing. They actually deposited the money and gave me 30 days to send it back. So, what's up, Josh Worth, brother Thunder from down under?
Yeah, there's more proof out there. Knife Nut 69. I think we've all thrown that
Hmm,
butcher knife at a tree at some point in time, and it held up. Those are great knives.
great for playing a little game of Mumbly Peg.
Yeah. CP, I'm not sure, man. I hadn't been in touch with them in a couple of weeks. I know, you know, uh, I think it's really cool. I've never seen a company like that where you could order, and I don't know if you can call that customer. I understand those knives are being made on CNC machines, but um, I think it's really cool that you can go on there and custom build, in the colors and hardware and blade shape that you want, and it's all the same price. I've never seen anybody do that. So, gotten late, and that I will say this, guys. The detent on that knife is not perfect. Um, you can fail it. Is it as bad as the Medford Smooth Criminal? Absolutely not. You know, it uh, it could use a little stronger detent, but that was literally the only complaint I could find on that entire knife was the detent was just a tad soft. Now, I mean, I could flip it open every time, but I definitely could fail it if I tried. But that button lock action was so smooth, and the finish on those things. The only thing that's kept me from purchasing that knife is I am a little worried about whether or not I would use it. It's so pretty, and the polish on that blade, everything about it's just so bougie and so pretty. I'm afraid I won't use it. You know, I don't know if I would still love it as much if it was laying there all scratched up. So I don't know.
What I got a question for you, Shane.
Sure.
That the what is it? Armor knife, the squirrel.
Yeah,
You like that knife?
I did. Um, I stated in my video that uh, I tried to put it as mildly as possible, and I said, is the refinement perfect? No, it's not. Um, and what I meant by that was, you can tell that it's handmade. That one guy's making it, so it's not a conigarious. It's not perfect, and the action um, felt just a little bit gritty. But I got to doing some research later on and found out that the reason why is because that blade steel, if you'll remember, had uh, it was a copper Damascus.
Yeah,
Well, that copper being softer than the steel, you can feel that when the bearings pass over it. Uh,
right.
and yeah, I mean, I could definitely feel it. When you close it, you could feel every time it transitioned from steel to copper as it's closing. So it wasn't glassy smooth, but I think I appreciated it more for its the artistry that went into it. The guy did it himself, but yeah, I had an opportunity to purchase it. Um, I feel like he might have needed just a little more time at that price range to make the
Yeah,
knife worth it. Now he did just release it in a button lock, so I'm really curious to see. Um, I'd love to get another one in hand and see what the button lock's like. But yeah, that's another one of those knives, though. Kind of like the Chapman that I don't know that I would have ever used it. If I'm not mistaken, the primary the cutting edge was just 1095 anyway. So it wasn't a high performance steel, and at $600, I felt like as a piece of art, it may be worth that. As pocket jewelry, but as a pocket knife, I feel like it may have missed the mark just a little bit. And it
yeah,
and it is also very opinionated. You have to just like that design enough to want to pay that kind of money for it.
yeah. And I could totally respect the that it was just one dude doing it. But like you said, I think there was a little bit more refinement that could have been done. A little
Nav
bit,
Nav bought one.
dialing it
He said
in.
the same thing. Nav said the same thing that it lacked a little refinement at that price range. But I
Yeah,
understand probably what it costs to make that knife and the amount of time that he put into it. I'm not going to say it's not worth it. It's just, is it worth it? Is it worth it as an everyday cutting tool? Um, I'll say no. Is it worth it
yeah,
if you're just in love with the way it looks and like to have something cool to show off? Then it's as worth it as a high end watch is. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
just to
It's
me,
all
that's
it's
watch tells time. But $1,000 watch isn't worth a penny more to me than a $30 watch. They do the same thing. But,
it's all subjective at that point. To me, it felt, and I know it had to do with, I mean, the thinness of the blade stock because it's not a beefy knife. It's a, you know,
it weighs
very
nothing.
slim knife. And so, and that was my deal. It just felt like nothing in my hand. It was so light,
Yeah,
almost cheap feeling. With I know the materials weren't cheap, but it just had that because it was so light,
yeah,
had that cheap feeling to it.
yeah. It almost felt like it was made out of aluminum instead of titanium.
Yeah,
So you're right there. I mean, and I'm not bad mouthing the guy's product because you know at that point in time, had I had the extra money, I probably would have bought it. I just feel like anytime I do that, though, I end up regretting it. Not because of the price or whether or not it was worth it, but if I own something and it just lays there because I'm scared of scratching it, or I just can't do that.
yeah,
That's when I feel like I wasted my money. Like I said, not that it's not worth it. It's just not worth it to me if I'm not willing to use it. That's why I'm really happy that I'm stuck in this $200 range. In my knife collection, because they're typically knives, like Spyderco's and Benchmade stuff that I'm not scared to use. I've got a Sabenza laying here, and when I go somewhere nice and or whatever, or think I might run into somebody that might appreciate it when I show it. I love my Sabenza, but I wouldn't carry it every day. You definitely could. That is one difference between this and that knife. Is there's no doubt in my mind this could stand up to hard use all day every day.
Oh yeah,
I just can't
but
do it.
save that for non-overall wearing days.
Right.
Formax Elite. What's the Formax Elite?
That's the
Michael
high
Upchurch
end
said something.
$300 one, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I thought that was just a regular Formax.
Oh yeah. I don't know what the Elite would be then.
I love that. I don't know. I had a Sabenza. It was basically the same one you've got, but it had the Insingo blade, and just I don't know. Probably would have kept it if I hadn't gotten in a position to where I needed the money, but it still wasn't my favorite knife in the world.
Right.
It would have been one of those it's an iconic knife that you want to own, so it goes in that spot in your collection. But
To me, it's kind of like owning a Colt Python. You know, if you're
yeah,
into firearms, that's an iconic weapon. There's a lot of clout and prestige that comes with having one. But would you carry it every day? No, you wouldn't. So,
titanium liner, $500 on sale, less than $200 on Midway's. What Michael Upchurch is talking about, that Formax, and American Lawman for $88. I mean, that's a good price on that Timbo. And the Lawman's a great cold steel knife.
yeah. Lacey, I can get that. I think there are knives out there that I still want to own, just part of the experience. I'd love to have a Spartan Harsey, but I know I wouldn't carry it, and not even so much as worrying about it being too fancy. My main reason is because it's a thumb stud knife, and you know that's purely my fault. I struggle with a thumb stud knife, so but I still want to have one. I want to experience one, and be able to look back on my knife collecting life and know that I owned a Harsey. But I don't know what I'll ever do if I have the money and the opportunity to buy an Arius. I still feel like I want to own an Arius, a month before I die. I just I don't know where I would go from there. What do you?
That's one of the ones that didn't do anything for me. And I mean, nothing, definitely not bad mouthing the knife. It's a great knife. It's just not my jam. That one and the Roosevelt are two knives. Not saying they're bad knives. They're great knives. I just wouldn't pay that much for them because they don't do anything for me.
Right.
Like personally.
G-Ball, I would, man, if they made a Spartan Harsey with a flipper tab, I'd be all over it. There's no doubt in my mind I'd carry that knife almost every day. I just can't carry a thumb stud knife that often. Even my Contigo, I know it's thumb stud, but the difference in opening this knife, this one's super easy to open versus my Sabenza, is there are actually times that I can't open my Sabenza. This may be one of them, but well, I got lucky that time. Right off the bat, got it open. But there are days that I just have to open it two-handed. Yeah, if they made, I was talking about that here a while back, dude. TRM finally made a flipper. Have you seen it?
Yeah, and it looks nice. I dig it.
It does, but man, if they would have made a flipper at them, that's the only thing that keeps that knife from being in my my top 5 favorite knives of all times. That it's thumb stud. I would love to be able to buy a flipper TRM at them. And now they do have a flipper knife, but they broke my cardinal rule. It's that it's it's a super thin blade or short blade. It's not wide at all.
So you said the Contigo, the action on it, like it's not painful for you to open. Like
Not at all.
you ought to look into getting
Every try.
a TRM. You ought to look into getting a Shadow.
I hate the way it looks.
Yeah, I hate the way it looks too.
I
When you
hate
get
that.
it in hand, it makes sense.
I'm sure it
It's the
does.
weirdest damn thing.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was the ugliest knife. I didn't see the appeal. And
Yep.
then when Sobex came to visit that time, I checked out his and I was like, oh, I get it now. It's fantastic.
See, Ben, you hit the nail on the head right there, buddy. I've 100%. I want an Imamba because of that reason. It's as fancy or fancier and prettier than a Sabenza, but it has a flipper tab. I want one of those knives in a bad way. Yeah. Don't Stevie? Don't you have an Imamba? Isn't that what the one with the uh, mammoth tooth? I think that's what he's got. It's an Imamba. Yeah, I want one of those. I mean, it does lack it lacks the fact that it's American made and it's not made by Chris Reeve, but um, I haven't owned any South African knives yet, and I think you kind of have to remember that Chris Reeve is a South African knife maker. He just chose to come here and make knives, but he came from that South African knife makers guild, and they make absolutely beautiful stuff down there.
For good prices too.
Yeah, comparatively speaking, and it's like you said, if you can buy an Imamba for the same price, that's the same price that the Armor Squirrel is. There's no comparing those especially as far as refinement. It's not even close. So, yeah, I do want an Imamba. That would definitely replace my CRK for my special occasion. Want to feel fancy knife for sure.
I was just about to mention G Bizzle talking about the Renegade Provisions company got a mischief. Dude, I'm crushing on that knife,
Yeah.
big time. It's a good looking freaking knife.
Maybe you guys can help me with this, but that was a pre-order, correct?
I don't know. I know they're in stock
Okay.
now. Like you can just
I may be
purchase one.
misinformed about something, but because I know you guys have heard me be verbal about that whole Leon Ma. These people have been waiting on their knife for a year or over a year now. But they've paid for those knives already, right?
The Liang Ma knives, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a straight up pre order.
Yeah. So that's how that works. I mean, you've already paid for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. On a pre order, you pay for it.
That's why I was so upset about it. If it's a situation where you know you pay $10 for a spot and you get charged for the knife when it ships, then I think that would be a little more forgivable. But if I've paid in full for something and then wait on it a year like that, um, there's no excuse for that. And everybody thought, well, he's having, uh, it's not his fault. It's production. Guys, lefties had what, 4 models made in that same amount of time, and y'all got them in your pocket. Tons of people have had knives made by the same company, and you've got them in your pocket. That is bullshit. I don't care what he says, dude. That is not an excuse. That's just a lie.
At some point, I don't know the logistics of it, but I feel like you should be able to offer, a refund if they don't want to wait anymore.
Absolutely.
Say, hey, look, it's taking way longer than expected. If this doesn't meet your timeline because it's not the timeline we promised, hey, we're offering full refund if you want it. Otherwise you can wait. Keep waiting it out, but at least give
Right.
people the option.
Yeah. 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 I'm
Because
just,
that's an extreme like delay. I feel like.
and I think if the entire knife industry was experiencing it, I might be more apt to believe it.
Yeah.
But like I said, since people sent him money for that knife, Kevin has started a knife company, designed knives, had knives made, and you know, you, you guys have already got them in your pocket in that same amount of time. So Yeah, I don't believe a word he says, especially after he ripped off Florida Fanatic. You know, Florida Fanatic handled that poorly. You know, he's a little bit ghetto, so nobody wanted to take his side. But yeah, the man should have been paid anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm out on Leon Ma. But it's shocking to me too how quickly people forgave that guy. Uh, God, I don't want to get this wrong. Who was it that got real shitty with his customers about waiting on their knives?
Oh, damn designs.
Yeah, yeah. Fuck that guy. Fuck that damn design.
Fuck your damn designs, man.
Right. I just know, like, had I if I had paid, say, Michael Martin for an upcoming design, and 3 months later I contacted him and was like, "Hey, man, you know, I've already kind of lost interest. It's been a little too long." There's no doubt in my mind that guy would be super apologetic. First of all, he probably wouldn't have let that happen, but he would have handled that correctly, and that means a lot to me. I don't care. That means more to me than the final product in hand. You know, even if you got those damn design knives and they were the best thing you've ever owned, I still don't want one because the guy's a shithead. You know, and I don't want to send him my money. So
Damn,
I just
Lacey.
thought
Tell us how you really feel.
I just thought it was weird that everybody was complaining about it and then just all of a sudden didn't care. You know, I don't know. Anyway, what is this? What's the
Yeah.
SK23?
I don't know what the SK23 is. What's the
Who did this, Lacey?
what's the
What are we talking
context?
about?
Year and a half. Damn. And then G-Ball said he's about to email Leong and ask for his money back.
Oh, G-Ball did?
Yeah, he said he's about to.
Uh, yeah, I'm real curious to see how that goes, G-Ball. Keep us informed on that because I would be really curious to find out how willing he is to give people their money back.
The smock. Is the SK23 a Kevin Smock knife? Oh, she's talking about Kevin Smock. That's what, yeah.
I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about Kevin Smock other than his Spyderco knife. That was a really weird knife too, man. I wanted that thing so badly, and I got it and loved it. I loved it the day that I got rid of it, but I don't know why. Every day when I walked over to my table to decide what I was going to carry that day, that knife never won. Never, not one time did it win out and go in my pocket. And when I did have it in my pocket, I don't know, man.
Did you feel weird using it? It was a weird knife to use.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
it
it was,
felt delicate too. It didn't feel.
yeah, it was fidgety as hell. I mean, but it just felt weird to use because I was the same way. I traded my first Mordax for one to Jake, and immediately when I got it, I regretted it. I was like, crap. But I mean, it was cool.
I didn't regret it
It,
when I got it. Every time, like I would be just sitting at home, and I would fidget with it, and really, and I put a screaming sharp edge on it. I'd cut paper with it every now and then. I just never wanted to carry it. I don't know. It was strange.
what's up, Blades and Fades? So I
Okay,
was the
yeah,
same way.
the smock was what they designed, or the SK20.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah. I was the same. It was the same type deal with there's something about long, slender knives like the 940. I don't I don't dig that knife. I dug it in theory, got it, and it was a great fidgety knife. Cool little knife. Nothing wrong with it. As far as manufacturing and shit, it's just something about a long, slender knife feels weird to use for me.
I think that's why I liked that Kaiser Sheepdog XL so much. I mean, that was what,
Yeah,
a few inches. I just love a broad blade, man, because it gives so much room for that flat grind to taper. It makes it super super cutty. But like I told you, I did find one shortcoming of that when you've got that 2 inches of steel and you're passing through certain material like a large block of cheese. It's a lot of. I was shocked, man. Like I was really proud because my mother-in-law was like, "I can't cut this cheese. You got a sharp knife?" I was like, "Heck yeah, I got a sharp." And I got the job done, but literally my hand hurt from having to push that thing so hard. I was thinking, I know this knife is sharp. It had nothing to do with the edge, though. I could have cut that with a lot.
All the surface area on it, man. You just handed her a fucking guitar string. She would have cut it like a champ.
Exactly. So I stood there and did it, but man, it sucked. And yeah, I never thought about that. But how often are we cutting blocks of cheese? So
I mean, depends on how much you like cheese.
Yeah, you're right there. And I am a big fan of cheese.
Yeah, I love some cheese.
Yeah.
Speaking of cheese, that burger joint's like a mile or so from the house, dude.
Really?
It's right downtown.
That's so
on the
good.
square.
I'm telling you, if it's more than 30 days, I'm gonna be really upset. Hopefully, get my money right, and I'm gonna ride up there. We're gonna go drink a couple of peppermint beers and eat a delicious burger.
Yeah, I look for those, and I think it's the same company makes this. It's Kentucky Barrel or something, and they've got like a bourbon barrel, vanilla barrel, But yeah, I can't find the peppermint one.
Yeah, I looked it up online, and it said that they only distribute to like 4 states, and
okay,
isn't one of them. So I don't know how Jack Brown's is acquiring it, but yeah.
That burger joint right there, Jerbster, Jack Brown's.
Yeah, Jack Brown's. Just to prepare you though, Jack Brown's a burger there is about $8, and it's not. I have to eat 2. They're not huge, but they're just delicious, man. And they're kind of like they just got weird menu items. Like the one that I like so much is the Greg Brady burger. So it's literally just a burger patty, some house-made macaroni and cheese, and some Ruffles barbecue potato chips on a bun, and it's so good.
Well, that shit's going down. But do they have the deep fried deviled eggs?
No, they don't have the deep fried deviled eggs. What's the name of that place?
Is it Burger Daddy's or
Big Daddy's?
Big Daddy's Burgers.
Yeah, they got a deep fried deviled egg that's pretty amazing. Yeah, I love barbecue.
Oh yeah, I do too. That's my jam right there.
Yeah. Yeah, their Parmesan crusted French fries are off the chain too.
If you tell me, hey, we're gonna go to this place, they got like burgers and sandwiches, and you tell me, and they put macaroni and cheese on it, my interest is like immediately piqued. I'm like, oh, do tell.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's good macaroni and cheese too. I think that's the key. Is that has to be
the vegetarian. One of the vegetarian joints at work, they do a weekly crunch wrap. It's just like Taco Bell crunch wrap, but it's like different ingredients. They make one. It's a soul food crunch wrap, all vegetarian. It's got like macaroni, like homemade macaroni and cheese on it, turnip greens, hot sauce, candied yams. Dude, it's so damn good. It's like something you're like, man, that's a weird combination. You bite into it, it's like heaven.
Yeah. What are Scotch eggs? Not sure I know what that is.
I don't either.
You say Kyle.
If you had Five Guys' response was not at one time. Very telling.
Let me tell you, anybody that ever argues Five Guys or In-N-Out, dude, it's not even close. Five Guys is so much better than In-N-Out.
No,
especially now. In-N-Out.
It's two different animals. That's apples and oranges, dude.
I found out
In-N-Out has their thing.
I found out In-N-Out's secret. The reason why In-N-Out burger tastes different than a hamburger you've had anywhere else is because
don't say it. Nope, don't say it. Because Sonic does the same damn thing, so don't even say it.
Do they really? I had no idea. That's why Sonic's patty's a little salty tasting. Wow.
Yep.
Well, now everybody has to know. They put
Go
the
ahead and tell them.
mustard. They put mustard on the patty before they cook it, so they coat it in mustard and then fry it. O-tip, no, I have not tried that, but I absolutely would. That sounds amazing.
Boiled eggs wrapped in sausage and deep fried. Jesus Christ, you're speaking my language.
Yeah, that sounds
I
amazing.
mean, add bacon to it, and that's my favorite heart attack right there.
God, Patina, you guys are forgetting now. I was sick all day. I haven't eaten in 36 hours.
Dude,
so y'all are killing me.
there, the pizza joint at work, this lady Kat, she just makes little like personal pizzas. I mean, she does like burritos and some sandwiches on different, she has different specials, but her main gig is making these little personal pizzas. And she's got a pizza that has mashed potatoes and gravy on it. And it's freaking out of this world.
Huh. Now, Patina's saying that's only if you ask. I remember I ate there the first time in 1989, and I remember thinking it was the best. In-N-Out was the best cheeseburger I'd ever eaten in my entire life. And it was the one right outside Magic Mountain. And I remember when I ordered my fries, I saw this guy take this russet potato. It was like the size of 2 softballs, man. It was huge. And he put it up in this stainless steel contraption, pulled the handle down, and the potato fell out the bottom of his fries. And then he cooked them, just that order. Not
And
like
Shane said, "What sorcery is this?"
Yeah, he cooked that that order of fries by itself, took them out, and dumped them onto a white towel. We had a huge stack of clean white towels and rolled them to get the grease off. I don't know if they still do all that, but that was the best thing I'd ever eaten. Now, but I don't think we went back when we went to Vegas about 10 years ago. We ate an In-N-Out in Vegas, and I mean, I didn't think it was any better than a Burger King, to be honest with you. It just wasn't. It wasn't anything at all like I remembered. So I don't know.
And there's where Five Guys beats In-N-Out, because Five Guys, when they, especially like you get your food to go, they put all your food and everything, your fries, your burger, everything in the bag.
Yeah.
Then they dump a whole nother order of fries on top of your food.
Oh, 2 orders.
Oh, dude! Oh my God!
Yeah.
What the hell? And they've got some good Cajun fries.
Yeah. Kate, what'd you say?
Yes.
I didn't know you had a choice of fries at Five Guys.
Yeah, you can get Cajun fries.
I've never heard of such.
Oh, you need to get on that, dude.
The one in Trussville, which was the closest one to me, about 45 minutes away. I don't know what happened there, man, but literally every time I went there, you had to stand in line. So it stayed busy. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, there was 10 people in line ahead of you. Every time I went in there. And I go back there one day, and it was closed. So I don't know if it was a lease issue or what. It had to be making money. But, yeah, so I don't have a Five Guys anywhere around close. That wasn't exactly close, but, another 10 minutes I could have been at Jack Brown. So,
see, Cletus knows. He said the Cajun fries is the best part of Five Guys. I'm telling you, dude. They've got the best Cajun fries out there.
I've just always got the regular fry. I didn't know there was an option for.
Five Guys basically gives you a bag of potatoes.
Yeah.
They do, man. They hook you up.
Yeah. Yeah, and a couple of minutes later, you hold that bag up, and it's all grease soaked, where the paper bag is pulling the grease out of the fries. God, man.
And you can go, and because you got the topping, like their milkshake toppings, dude. You can go get the Elvis Presley milkshake. So damn good.
Hey, Jack Brown's has an Elvis Presley burger that has peanut butter on it.
Do they?
I can't bring myself to try it, but everybody says it's amazing. But I just can't.
Do you know the real Elvis Presley sandwich ain't exactly what people? You know what all it's got on it, right?
13-year-old girls.
It's got that.
Okay. That would make it a real Elvis Presley sandwich. Isn't that odd? How nobody cares that he was a pedophile?
Or Jerry Lee Lewis. Jerry Lee Lewis was a pedophile.
Exactly. It's strange to me that 10 years later, we find out all these kids have come forward and said, Michael Jackson never touched us. Our parents and these lawyers told us exactly what to say because they wanted money. None of it ever happened. Yet we still remember him as a pedophile.
Right.
And Elvis didn't even try to hide it. I mean, he had a whole harem. He had like 6 or 7 13-year-old girls that toured with him. So he could pick a different one every night. Priscilla was what, 14, 15 when he met?
Yeah.
Nobody cared. Nobody cared.
Back in those days, though, I mean, I'm not justifying it by any means, but back in those days, I mean, that was like girls of that age were of age.
Right.
They were getting married and slinging out kids.
Yeah. I've mentioned this to several people, and very few, you have to be my age to remember it, but I'll never forget watching Little House on the Prairie when that little 13-year-old girl got married to the big bearded guy that ran the sawmill.
Yeah.
I still see it because it was like out in this huge field. They had their wedding, and because that was normal back then. But
yeah,
I just think it's odd that Elvis got a pass, and Michael Jackson. And I'm not a Michael Jackson fan. I mean, I appreciate his music, but it's just strange how nobody cares to go back, and now that we know the facts, he'll just always be labeled as that guy that liked to touch little boys' buttholes.
Connor, I said Elvis died a week before he was born. Dude, this is no lie. And this happened right up the road from you. I think I was living in Jacksonville at the time, but my grandma was a huge Elvis fan. She had the velvet Elvis hangings on the wall, the Elvis ceramic dishes and all this shit.
Oh, yeah.
And I can remember walking in her bedroom, and she was laying in bed in the middle of the day crying. And I walked out. I said, "Mama, what's wrong with Mama?" Or Mama. And she said, "Oh, Elvis died today." Yeah. She laid in bed and cried all day the day.
I was in a car with my aunt. We had been to one of my cousin's Pee-wee football games, and they stopped the football game and came over the loudspeaker to announce that Elvis Presley had died. And she seemed fine. They finished the game, but they had like a moment of silence. But anyway, they finished the game, and on the way home, she just broke down. She had to pull over on the side of the road and just sat there and squalled. Listen, of course, every radio station was playing Elvis. So hearing the music, she broke down and cried. And I remember as a kid thinking, why is this such a big deal? People die every day. But anyway, yeah, that was pretty huge.
The main thing I remember about Elvis, he was a big bitch.
Tom, you're correct there. He was a weirdo. He had some issues, but these are the exact kids that their parents accused him have all come out and said that none of it ever happened. And anyway, so I don't know.
He came in I think it was Sam Goody at the mall in San Luis Obispo. My friend worked out in California. He came in the Sam Goody, bought a CD or some shit, and she said he paid. He reached in his pocket. He just had a handful of wadded up bills. He spread them all out and paid for it or whatever. And he looked at her and he said, "Do y'all sell ice cream?" And she said she just stopped and looked around and was like, "Dude, like CDs." And he was talking, it was Sam Goody in the mall, and he meant in the entire mall, does the mall sell ice cream? But when he asked it, I guess he's so awkward, he was just like, "Do y'all sell ice cream?" She's like, "No, we've got records and stuff." And he's like, no, the mall. Do y'all have an ice cream store in the mall?
Yeah, that's funny stuff. But I didn't know that. Well, and Steven Tyler got away with it too. Steven Tyler went to that 14-year-old girl's mother and had her sign over parental supervision of her so that he could take her on tour with him.
You know what I'm noticing here? There's a pattern. These pedophiliac dudes, they all have hot daughters.
Yeah, his daughter is smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah, her and that chick. I forgot her name.
In the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alicia Silverstone. Yeah,
Oh,
that was my first lesbian love affair right there, man.
yeah. I think Alicia Silverstone. I think her draw was that she was just that girl next door. She had
Yeah,
that super sweet, or at least that was her persona. She had that super sweet personality, and knows she wasn't 6 foot tall, 90 pounds, supermodel, but yeah, she was beautiful.
just a little kitty. What's up, Irish Bomb Squad?
We're doing IBS. I wonder if he ever thought when he came up with that name that we would shorten it to the
To
initials for
irritable bowel
irritable bowel
syndrome.
syndrome. Yeah, gonna ride. Elvis's daughter did marry Michael Jackson. You're 100% correct there.
Yeah. So there's a whole tie-in. That's how we do things around here on this show.
Yeah,
Everything ties together neatly.
yeah. Do you remember Tom Weingart talking about Liv Tyler got smoking? Do you remember her in Empire Records?
Yes.
Whew. Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Hard to believe that we got that excited about stuff like that back then. When now everybody's naked. You can see all the nudity and pornographic material you want. It's all right there in your pocket all day long.
Hell, Liv Tyler was hot in Jersey Girl.
Yeah. Kyle, you are 100% correct there. But she didn't have much of a chance of not being ugly. I mean, look at her
No.
mom. Yeah, yeah. She was dealt a poor hand to begin with. Well, I'm getting lost now. Now we've moved on to Nicolas Cage. Did I miss the Nicolas Cage story?
Dude, you ever seen that one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen is that damn it. What is it? Bad Cop Port something with Nicolas Cage. All I remember is he was whacked out on coke, and there'd be a Komodo dragon like walking, and he'd see it. It was a weird damn movie.
All his last 20 movies have all been pretty weird.
Yeah, he kind of went all Jeff Goldblum on us a little bit.
Well, he got broke. I mean, he had to, he owed the government, the IRS, so much money. He had to just do whatever he could do to get by. So I guess it makes sense.
The whole Clinton family, yeah, that is a messed up looking family.
Yeah. Who's
Oh,
who's
Bill,
this? Who's this person? OTIP speaking of Sid Charisse. I don't know who that is.
I don't know.
I have to look that up later.
Nicolas Cage has a new cowboy movie out. It looks stupid.
Oh, I'm
Bad
sure.
Lieutenant 2. Demonox said it is Bad Lieutenant 2. That's it.
It was a part two. So there was a part
Yeah,
one.
it had old damn super high fine chick. I think she wasn't she in the one of the Fast and Furious movies. Hispanic chick.
Oh, Michelle Rodriguez.
No, no, she was in the one with Our Pockets is Deep and We Hungry, or some Tyrese, the one with Tyrese in it.
Oh, the one that Vin Diesel wasn't in.
Yeah,
I think that was part two, wasn't it? Where it was Tyrese, Paul
maybe.
Walker.
Yeah, it was Tyrese, Paul Walker, and damn, what's her name? Somebody's bound to say it, but my screen's so far down now I can't see the chat. Daisy Fuentes. Was that it? Was it Daisy Fuentes? No. No. Oh no. Or maybe it was. Eva Mendes. Boom. There you go.
Yeah.
Kyle Coonley got it.
Yeah, she's married to Ryan Gosling.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I didn't know that till recently.
They're all hot before you had them.
Yeah, they were in that movie Beyond the Pines together. I really liked Ryan Gosling. He was one of those actors that I avoided because he was such a a heartthrob, so I just assumed. And he made that movie, The Notebook, so I just assumed that's the kind of actor he was. But dude, Ryan Gosling does crazy, almost as good as Brad Pitt does.
Oh yeah,
If you put him in that role where he's,
not as good as Heath Ledger though.
I don't know, dude.
Dude, Patina Turner, that son of a gun. So, all right. So not only is he witty as hell and creative as hell, but he's got the memory of an elephant. He does not forget shit.
What
So,
did he drop on us?
well, he keeps calling my nickname from when I was in the military, Robo. He keeps he keeps referencing that, and I'm like, golly, of course you would remember that. Damn it. Shane loves The Notebook and Hanson. Hands
Yeah,
off, ladies.
I've never seen The Notebook.
Dude, that's actually a pretty decent movie, man.
I
Not
know
gonna
a lot of
lie.
guys that say it was a pretty good movie, but I have to check it out one of these days. I don't know. I think the brainwashing that is YouTube has made it where it's really hard for me to sit through a 2 hour movie now. Like, I don't know. I want all my entertainment 10, 15 minutes at a time. Except for live streams. I can watch live streams, but, um, I haven't watched Black Adam yet. I tell myself that I want to, but I haven't watched it yet. But I don't know about you guys, man, but I'm kind of burnt out on The Rock. I don't have anything against him, but I mean, he pretty much every movie he's in, he just plays himself. He's just The Rock.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of bored with it.
Except in what was it called? Be Cool is the sequel to Get Shorty.
Yeah.
He didn't play himself in that movie.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I don't. What are you getting at, IBS? I would love to see a robot go into a grateful panic. That sounds very sexual and violating. I don't want that to happen. I don't want to get fucked by a robot.
Brandon Sutton just said I liked Black Adam, and then CPM said I just finished Black Adam. It was awful. Was it awful? Please tell me it wasn't extremely woke, because most of your superhero movies, especially the Marvel universe, has just turned into I don't know, man. They've gotten bad.
Be cool, honey bun. Be cool. Yeah, those are good movies.
Yeah.
What's that dude's name? Like, the dude that he's got a weird name that did the writer of Be Cool and Get Shorty. Somebody's gonna spout off with it. I know somebody knows Elroy or Elrod or Elwood or some shit.
Well, Brandon Sutton said it wasn't woke, so maybe it's better than the Marvel universe at the moment.
She Bizzle Race to Witch Mountain. The Rock was in that.
Yeah, I think John Travolta was involved in the. I don't know if he was involved in both, but I think he was in Get Shorty. Elroy Jetson.
Oh, Elroy Jetson.
To me, that was one of the greatest YouTube videos ever made, especially if you were a World of Warcraft fan. That Leroy Jenkins video was one of the funniest things I've ever seen, dude. I laughed so hard at that. And then it broke my heart because, like, years later, I found out it was staged.
Yeah.
It wasn't real. that kills me because, thinking that it was, it just happened naturally is what made it so funny. Because if you ever played that
Elmore
game,
Leonard. That's it. Way to go, Jeffrey Dawson. That's it. Elmore Leonard and Demonoc.
they Googled that shit. There's no way.
I don't care. They still gave me the answer.
There's
Saved
no
me the
way
trouble
they
from
remembered
Googling it.
Elmore Leonard.
Big ups to both of you. I don't care if you Googled it and saved me the trouble. So
My only issue with superhero movies, maybe I'm the only one, but it was kind of like the Transformer movies too. This is my thing. What I've always hated about them, and I loved the Marvel universe all the way up to the last big one. I loved all those movies, but I always have an issue with people with superpowers. It's like as I'm watching it, I'm like, well, how did he do that, but he can't do this? You know what I mean? Or like, how did they hit him with a nuclear missile and it didn't bother him, but you know, I don't know.
But a green rock from a specific planet will
But
bring him
even
to his
that makes
knees.
sense because that's his, that was his weakness. I just mean normal. It happens all the time in those movies, where they're unloading on him with a gas, with a mini gun, and he deflects it all. But a punch from like when Loki stabbed Thor in the Avengers. Well, all the shit we've watched happen to him, and none of it hurt him. And that little 3-inch blade dagger that Loki stabbed him with is supposed to almost kill him. I don't know. I always have a problem with that.
Kyle said a albino Michael Clark Duncan would play you in a superhero movie.
Michael Clark Duncan. Wasn't he the guy in Green Mile?
Yeah.
God, that was such a good movie, man. I'm
He
a
played
big emotional
Kingpin.
teddy bear. I love anything that grabs my heartstrings like that. Green Mile was
That was a good movie, man.
For me, yeah. I like to watch something like that and end up shedding a tear at the end. Like, I think the movie that made me cry the hardest was Man on Fire, though. When she comes out of that car and starts running across the bridge screaming Creasy, dude, it just destroyed me.
You know what movie you need to watch? Have you watched the Gary Sinise, John Malkovich version of Mice and Men?
No, but I watched the original version when I was young and cried for it, so I can only imagine with
Dude.
Yeah.
John Malkovich, dude, he kills that role, man.
Kyle Kunal, you are 100% correct, sir. I certainly did cry watching Rudy. When all those players walked in throwing their jerseys on the coach's desk, sure did. I cried. Not ashamed to admit it either. Yeah, staying Homeward Bound got me, but that one was especially hard on me because I've always been a huge fan of American Bulldogs, Pit Bulls, Staffordshire Terriers. So, yeah, Homeward Bound made me cry a little.
Don't blame it on the breed of the dog, man.
No, I blame it on me being emotionally unhinged.
Yeah. The Fox and the Hound. Hey now. Oh, Copper and Todd.
Do what, CPM?
Was he trying to get you to cry on command?
I don't know. I can't just cry on command, but Man on Fire is one of my favorite movies of all time, though. I'm a huge Denzel Washington fan, though. I hate when people get in that argument with me over who's the better actor, Denzel Washington or Tom Hanks. I don't think it's even close. And the reason for that is because I think Denzel can play any role. You know what I mean? He can be the good guy, the bad guy. He's just so convincing in everything that he does.
Yeah, he can play any character that says "my man."
Yeah, but with Tom Hanks, well, let's put this: could you implant Tom Hanks into Training Day? Could he have been that character in Training Day?
No. Decentiate 01 says, "Beware of pit bulls; they will steal your heart."
Where'd that go?
What did that goofball say?
Dude, I had an epiphany the other day. I was watching G-Ball's live, and it hit me that G-Ball shares something with Chris Cornell. And I'll tell you, let me explain.
Yeah, that's going to need some explanation.
Watching Chris Cornell sing, and I've even watched vocal coaches talk about it, that he does everything wrong. Like Chris Cornell breaks all the rules because his mouth barely moves when he sings. and they're all amazed that he can make these sounds out of his mouth moving. And I realized that G-Ball's the same way. When you watch G-Ball's lives, his mouth rarely ever moves. It just tickled me thinking about it. But yeah. So that's what he shares with Chris Cornell.
Because he's got mind control. He can put all that shit in our heads without ever even moving his mouth.
G-Ball could practice for about 5 minutes and be a ventriloquist. Because his lips don't move when he talks anyway, hardly.
Beast of No Nation is hands down one of the hardest films. Is that along the lines of the Beast with Two Backs?
Yeah, what kind
Book of Eli.
I don't think I've heard of that.
Book of Eli is a good film. So in my time working with people like me with problems. Anyway, I was working with this lady who had a slight methamphetamine habit, and she, of course, she's getting clean. She's talking about the old days of it. She was like, "Yeah, man, I'd smoke me some meth, and I'd walk like the Book of Eli."
Yeah, I love revenge movies, so that's why I think I was such a big fan of Man on Fire. I love to see people get revenge. But yeah, Book of Eli is definitely up there for me too. And I fell for it completely. I had no clue. Just like Sixth Sense, I had no clue until the very end, and I think that really makes the movie if you don't know the spoiler for Book of Eli. It makes it all worth the watch.
So you a fan of old Buford Pusser?
Yeah. Well, no, not really, because that was my family.
Yeah, I know. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, that was my family that Buford Pusser run out of Tennessee. But, they were all a bunch of damn hoodlums. It probably needed to happen. I haven't seen Requiem for a Dream either, Patina, but I want.
Oh, dude, that's a good movie.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that one.
And do you a marathon the day you watch Requiem for a Dream? Go ahead and watch Trainspotting too.
Yeah, I've heard Trainspotting's a hard watch. Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Buford T. Justice is Shane's favorite. Oh shit! Oh, Smokey and the Bandit. That's a good damn movie.
Yeah.
Good movies.
Yeah,
well, Cletus, you're slipping, dude. You got to watch Trainspotting. That's a good one.
Yeah. I've heard it's good.
And then Spun. That's another damn good one.
Spun.
Yeah. It's hectic.
City of Angels or whatever. I think wasn't that the one that was supposed to be so sad, but I never watched it.
Oh yeah, Spun. What's another?
I knew somebody was going to bring that up right there. Carco nailed it. I knew that one was going to
Heroin Bob.
Yeah. I was just waiting on that.
Yep. What's the movie? It's it's got Jeremy Piven in it. It's about it to me it's the original version of Hangover. Dude's on bachelor party trip and they kill a hooker. I think it's called like Bad Things dude, they yell the whole fucking movie. It's so intense, dude. You're just like the whole freaking movie.
I think I've heard of that, but I don't think I've watched it.
I think it's called like Really Bad Things or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Fallen was great. Yeah, Fallen was a good one.
PCU was Piven's best. PCU was also what's dude? He was on Friends. He played the dude with the dreadlocks. It's like thinks the lady's saying, "Can you smell me in my Pampers?" or something. Damn, I can't remember his name. He played the. He was on Friends. He played Monica's boyfriend that was into like MMA fighting.
You know who that
Uh,
was? That's John
uh,
Favreau.
yeah, that's him. That John
I thought it was
Favreau's.
odd that he went from playing. The first time I ever experienced John Favreau was Monica's boyfriend on Friends, and then next thing you know, he produces the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah. Did you ever see Swingers? That movie Swingers. It's got John Favreau. It's got Vince Vaughn in it. Baby, you're so money you don't even know how money you are, baby. It's a good movie.
Maybe Leaving Las
That
Vegas is the one I was thinking of, Scott, not City of Angels. I mean, I think they're
Leaving
both.
Las Vegas, where he plays an alcoholic.
Yeah, that's the one with Nicolas Cage. Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't seen that either.
yeah, that one's rough.
Yeah. I just found out recently that Quentin Tarantino wrote Natural Born Killers. I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm a huge Tarantino fan. I don't know how I didn't know that, but he wasn't involved with the making of it at all. They just
Mm.
bought the script from him. Yeah,
Mickey and Mallory.
pretty disturbing flick.
That was a good. I saw that one in the theaters, man. That was a damn good movie.
As far as Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, somebody mentioned it. I watched that movie like 4 times and never. I just couldn't. I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. And then I partook of a certain herbal substance and watched it, and it was an entirely different experience.
Yes,
I've heard that
dude.
before, like about Pink Floyd, The Wall, and I'm like, if I have to be high to enjoy something, I want to watch it. But man, that was a wild ride.
Yeah, I went and saw that in theaters too, and I can honestly say when I came out of the theater, I went and saw it with my friends Sean and Dana, and all three of us were the same way. We walked out of the theater, shit just did not seem real.
Yeah,
Like we were just like, whoa, everything's weird as hell. And
especially
we smoked a little reefer.
yeah, that's all I did. But the first 3 or 4 times of watching it, I couldn't get through it because I just thought it was stupid because I was completely sober trying to watch it. But yeah, yeah, that was a pretty good flick though. I didn't know either that was also kind of based on a true story. Did you know that?
What's that? Which one?
I didn't even know that movie was about Hunter S. Thompson.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
had no idea that was all. But he actually went to cover the Baja 500, and
Well, I mean, it's based on his book,
I didn't know that.
which I read his book years before the movie it was even thought of. So to me, I was like, oh shit, they're making a movie out of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's based on his book, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Here's speaking of writers. Here's a piece of trivia. I'm sure somebody's mentioned it before, so you guys may have heard it. But the CRKT Pilar is actually named after Ernest Hemingway's boat.
Yeah,
This was a boat. It was just like a normal boat you'd take the family or friends out on a cruise in that he had actually mounted a large machine gun on, and he would use it to patrol the waters around Key West looking for Nazi boats, submarines, whatever. So I didn't realize what how crazy Ernest Hemingway was either. But
he was a crazy drunk.
yeah, not just a drunk. He was
A crazy yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, Patina. It actually
All the
in the
good ones.
movie. There's actually a very brief scene where he goes to the race. It actually shows the off road race when he's there, but he missed most of it because he was so drugged up. But yeah, that was the whole point of that trip was he was supposed to be covering. I say that it may have been the 1,000. It may have been a different race, but it was definitely an off road race in Baja is where he was supposed to be, and yeah, he ended up too high to do his job.
What's up, brother Dennis? Good to see you, man. Old Shart would fart things.
You're right there, Todd. I firmly believe, especially after working in a tattoo shop for a while, that I think whatever it is inside the human brain that lends you to be artistic, um, is a result of you being a little bit unhinged or a little bit crazy. I don't think you can be one without the other. And from my experience, it is a direct percentage too. Like the more crazy you are, probably the more artistic you are. So I think that's why
That's
we're all always amazed, when we hear about these super artistic, famous people and the stupid shit that they do. I don't think they can help it. I think if you're super artistic, you probably lack some life skills as well.
okay. First of all, um, that sounds like my kind of movie right there. CPM, the greatest beer run ever. Sounds awesome. But Kyle Coonley said, did Shane say autistic or artistic? Hard to tell with his accent and mispronunciation.
Artistic, not autistic. Yeah. And it's only mispronunciation if you can't understand Southern. So
He's not saying it wrong. You're hearing it wrong.
exactly. Yeah, I'm saying it just like everybody else within 5 miles says it.
I like you do there, but there are even different dialects in the South because you say this, like you do this too. But I used to work with this girl at Kroger, and like saying cold and hold, the L would disappear. Hold, you got to
Yeah,
hold it right there.
yeah,
But because I can remember, like I'd be bagging groceries next to her, and she'd be like, "You hold the code." So
right.
I'd start picking. I'd be okay. I'll hold the code. I got it here. Hey, I'll hold that. That's code. I'll hold it.
I didn't realize that the word tote wasn't used outside the South either. Like when I first got to California, I asked them, "Hey, you want me to tote that for you?" They're like, "I want you to
Oh,
what?
yeah.
Oh, you want
That's
me
what
to
I
tote
use.
that?"
I use that one all the time too. Like
Yeah,
even like instead of I won't be like what knives I'm carrying. I'll be like knives I'm toting today is
yeah, yeah. Apparently, everybody doesn't use the word tote like we do.
no.
And finger troll.
It's well, it's not chol. It's choil.
It's just
It,
troll. See,
it's just a finger
Tina
chol.
spelled it out for you right there. That's how you say it.
It's
It's just
finger
like
chol.
that right there, finger troll.
Shane is retarded.
Yeah. Well, I had this group of guys that I used to play Call of Duty a lot with, and just like anywhere else, your friend group starts to grow because one of the guys that you're used to playing with brings another buddy in. So anyway, so I met this guy named Ross from Southern Louisiana, and for the first 2 years that I played with Ross, um, I would have bet everything I owned that Ross was black. I mean, there was no doubt in my mind that Ross was a black guy from Louisiana. And then I found out that he wasn't. And it was really confusing to me because the more I started playing with Ross and started playing with friends of his from where he lived, I thought they were all black. But come to find out, they were, don't take this offensive because it's what they call themselves, but they're coon ass. And I
Yeah,
had
the
never
coon
heard of
ass.
coon ass. I
They
didn't know
get offended if you don't call them coon
right.
ass.
I didn't know what coon ass was, but it is a completely different dialect than standard
Yeah,
Southern drawl. Coon ass is a whole other language. It's kind of like Pikey, the difference between Pikey and Irish. They're
coon ass is it's the
connected, but
Cajun version.
yeah, it's well, they'll even tell you
um,
it's not the same as Cajun. It's got a very, I don't even know how to explain it, man. If you
yeah,
ever have a
it's
conversation with
yeah.
somebody with
Oh yeah, I've got family out there.
and they're and you can't say that they are coon. Yeah, how I put it. It's not that they speak coon ass; they are coon ass.
Yeah.
That's their yeah.
Um, damn it. Irish Bomb Squad just said he grew up in North Carolina, and up until just reading that, I legit thought he was Irish. Thought he was a dude over there in Ireland watching the shit, well, but hell, I used to live right south of you in South Carolina up until very recently. And then, damn it, going down, you
See,
bastard.
they may not said it right there. Cajun and coon ass are different,
Yeah,
and I don't think they like being referred to as the opposite either. Like if you're coon
no,
ass,
they
I don't
do
think you're
not.
supposed to be called Cajun.
OTIP said that people in California don't understand Ewans. All my family in Tennessee says Ewans, and then up in North Georgia where my parents live now, the people there say Ewans too, but they don't say Ewans, they say Yins.
Yeah, yeah.
Yins going to the skating rink tonight. But in my
And I
family in
don't know if
Tennessee,
you
they
heard,
say Ewans.
but
What
I've
are
heard.
Ewans up to?
Yeah, I think the word I got called out on most in California was white. That's what color is that? That's white. Say it again. It's white. And there's like, no, you're not saying a color. You're saying a name. That's WYATT, white. But that's just how we pronounce it here. And after about a year, I slowly transitioned until I started actually saying white. But I had
You know
never
the words I got
it's
called
yellow.
out the most in
Yeah, now in
California were
Alabama, there's no such. You don't say yellow. It's yellow.
yeah,
YELLA. Yellow. That's a color. But
or
after
yaller.
being in California, yellow kind of stuck with me. But I slowly got back to saying white instead of white.
The ones I got called out the most on were well for fixing to. Everybody picked on me about that. I'm fixing to. You fixing? What are you fixing? I'm not fixing anything. I'm fixing to do that shit.
Yeah.
But it was orange and Volvo were the ones I got called out on the most because apparently it's not orange, it's orange,
Right.
and it's not Volvo, it's Like I can't even say
Volvo.
fucking Volvo the right way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny stuff. I got called out a lot when I was in California for how I pronounce things. And it's funny how after you stay there for a while, it slowly starts to go away. But that was a long time ago, so most of mine has come back. That's
It's
why I'm
Volvo, but girls don't like that name. No, they're
yeah,
cool with Volvo. They don't like cunt, Kyle.
apparently not. I've never understood that either. Why let something like that bother you? I don't get it.
I think it is kind of harsh. It's very like staccato and harsh sounding.
It's still just a word, though, man. I don't
Yeah, it
get
is.
people being so offended by
I
words.
mean, everything offensive. Just it's a combination of vowels and consonants that are pronounced a certain way that gonna
Right.
tend to piss you off in one way or another.
Yeah. I think I've said a long time ago, if 50 years ago people would have quit caring about the N word, it would have just went away.
Yeah,
People have to take it so personally. I don't get it. I just don't understand a man letting a word affect him that negatively. I don't understand. But anyway, I prefer gash over cunt.
any day.
I don't
Hairy
think
hatchet wound.
either one of those are very gentlemanly, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean the scientific term is hairy hatchet wound.
Yeah.
Next time a Californian disrespects you, just tell them to shove some kale up their ass.
I tried eating kale one time. I don't get that. I don't understand why. Yeah, that's just horrible.
It damn sure ain't no deep fried deviled eggs, I'll tell you that.
No.
Hunt, punt, stunt, runt, bunt, shunt. Exactly.
Well, guys, I'm going to be honest. After our conversation about food, um,
Huh.
I'm going on about 38 hours with nothing in my stomach, and I am starving. So I'm fixing to go in there and see what I can dig out of the refrigerator to get me a bite to eat.
Is
But,
that Kyle saying he prefers gash over cunt made you hungry and go see what you got to eat in the
Lacey, I was thinking the exact same thing, sweetheart. If that's what it looks like, Kyle, you need to be a little more picky. Maybe start shopping around a little bit. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, guys, we've been at it a little over 2 hours, so guess I'll just take this opportunity to say Merry Christmas to you guys. And once again, you guys know I always appreciate any amount of time y'all spend with me. Um, and I hate to ask, but I would really love to be able to hit 1,000 by the New Year. So any way y'all can help me out with that would be much appreciative. And one other thing, guys, I'm not complaining at all, but I made a habit out of anytime I watch people that I consider my friends' videos, I don't wait to even decide if I like the video. I just hit like and right off the bat. But I find that I get very few likes on my videos. You guys wouldn't mind hitting that thumbs up and try to get those likes up a little bit, so maybe YouTube will push my stuff a little more. I'd be very much appreciative of that. So, and to you guys that do, always hit the like button and comment, that means the world to me. There's 2 or 3 guys that I can count on almost every time. Whether that be Marcos Gamma and Jeremy Spalding, and there's a few more. I know I'll forget some. I can't list them all, but I do appreciate that because it really does help. And whether it helps with the algorithm or not, it helps with my psyche because when John, the more likes you see, the better you feel about what you're doing. So.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Damn you, Cletus.
Yeah.
I keep moving my mic up and so they can hear me nose breathing into it.
I
But
might
yeah,
not have to wear headphones. If I was getting worried about that with all the audio issues we were having, that I was going to end up having to do it with headphones. But I hate wearing. They actually they make my left ear hurt after about 10 minutes.
Well, if it comes down to it, you got to get some headphones. Get some of these. They're Sennheiser.
That's not what I play Xbox with. But if I'm not playing with friends, I don't wear them. And I know I can't hear the footsteps because of it, and that hurts my gameplay. But literally, after about 10 minutes, man, I have this sharp pain in my ears. I hate.
I'm telling you, like these right here, most comfortable headphones I've ever worn in my life, dude. And they've got like little almost velvety little the ear pads you can put on.
Yeah.
They're definitely worth the money.
I got you. Well, all right, guys, I'm going to go grab a bite to eat. John, brother, I appreciate you helping me out, man. I love having you on for this. It would not be the same doing it by myself. And like I said, Merry Christmas to all you guys. And I guess that's it. So
that sounds good. Love you fuckers. Y'all have a great night. Merry Christmas. Appreciate you hanging out with us.
Yeah, absolutely. See you guys next week.